It is time. It is time to brew your best beer.
The 2016 SJPorr Challenge is dedicated to your friend and ours, Paul Wickstein. Brought to you by Brewcraft USA, iMake, Gladfield Malting, Yakima Valley Hops, The Grain Bill, Brewers Exchange, Cake Kingdom Homebrew Supply, Hiraki Homebrew, and a special thanks to our silver sponsors.
You clicked on the link, you watched the intro, you know what's happening here. It's the 2016 SJPorr Challenge, and this is my first review. How you guys doing? I've got my laptop set up here. I've got a little notebook to keep some notes if I need to. I'm going to write my scores and my thoughts down in here too. Or I may just do a screen capture of what I enter from the web page, just so I've got it on record in case something happens and I've got to go back and re-enter, network crash, computer explodes, whatever. Anyway, that's how I'm going to do it. This first one might be a little bit longer because I wanted to explain what I was doing there and just tell you guys how excited I am to get into this. I randomly selected a bottle right out of the fridge, so it is really cold right now out of the fridge, and this is how I'm going to do each one. I'm going to pull it out of the fridge, I'm going to try it, pour it, try it cold, get the aromas and everything, do my initial thoughts on camera, and then I'm probably going to cut, take my scores down, come back with some final thoughts. Similar approach to what I did last year, but I'm going to try to be a little bit more diligent about it this time. This year I'm in a new hub, a new region of the United States because I moved. I'm in the southeast region, so in Georgia, and so it's a whole new array of brewers. Some guys have had their beers before that I know are in it, other guys I have no idea, so it's going to be a fun experience. So without further ado, let's jump into this. Tonight I've got the 77T-63X-34N right there. It's in a Dogfish bottle. It looks like a 60-minute. This is a 2.9% rye IPA made with Falconer's Flight and Nugget hops. And it says it's got 65 IBUs and it's bottle conditioned. So I've got my coveted Surly Teku glass, one I picked up at the brewery. I'm going to do every review in this to give them an even shake. I'm going to go ahead and crack this baby. Alright. Something to be said about a bottle conditioned beer. Get a nice pour there. So it's pouring a lovely golden straw, very light color. I get as much of that in there as I can. There she is. Nice streaming carbonation. Poured a nice head. Mixed bubbles. A little hazy. Looks a little bit like a New England IPA, huh? Let's get an aroma. Getting a little bit of a yeasty aroma, followed by hops. I think that's the Falconers. Maybe a touch of the Nugget hops. Oh, this has got a new experimental hop in it, it says too. .9%. That's, I think, the lightest beer in the region after looking at the notes. So I don't have much else on aroma. I'm going to go ahead and jump in. Cheers. Wow. The rye is really kicking up a spicy component to that. I don't think I know what the yeast is here. Nope. But it's almost kind of got the like spicy phenolic note of a Belgian. It's quite bitter. Picking up a bit of that yeast aroma, and maybe it's not a yeast aroma, maybe it is from the rye. All right, I'm gonna break, I'm gonna take some notes down, and I'll be back with some final thoughts. All right, so I'm back with my final thoughts for, what is this one? 77T-63X-34N. Let it warm up a little bit, and some of those, a bit of that yeast character, that spicy phenolic thing that I was mentioning earlier died off, but it really kind of stood out as a big component to this beer. I think it's a combination of the yeast and the rye. Trying to pick out what the yeast strain was on this, and it's really kind of hard for me to decipher. But there is kind of a yeasty, spicy thing in there that's just really kind of overpowering any of the delicate flavors and aromas that the hops might be bringing. I know Nuggets can be just a wonderful hop. If you've ever had Nugget Nectar, or brewed with predominantly Nuggets, it has a nice kind of juicy, it's not citrus, but it's, I don't know, best way I can describe it is kind of a juicy herbal thing, if you get what I'm trying to say. But mouthfeel wise, the body is real nice. It's light, but it's got a little beef behind it, I think, from the rye. The carbonation is great. I think you can't improve on the carbonation on this beer. It's perfect. Finish is pretty dry, which is pretty nice for an IPA. I love a dry IPA. It makes you want to go back in for more. The thing that I'm going to comment on is this beer was, for me, pretty harsh. The 65 IBUs I think is a little bit too much for a beer that's this light. And my suggestions would be to go in, if you're going to brew this again, because this is really borderline on being a good beer. There's no real, aside from that huge character of the phenolics, which I'll get into in a second, it's really close to being a great beer. I think if you took the bittering addition and reduced the heck out of it, either put just a touch in or just eliminated the bittering addition altogether at the early stages of the boil and moved it way back in the boil, say 30 minutes or even less, just to drop those IBUs down so they're not isomerizing in the kettle for so long, and pulling all those bitter components. Maybe even use a lower alpha acid hop to give you less of that bittering. I think that would improve it. Maybe a bit less of the rye. And if that is a yeast component that I'm picking up that's kind of a little bit off-putting for me, I would say maybe the beer needs to finish up more. Maybe it needs a secondary. Maybe it just went to bottle too soon. I don't know. Maybe those yeast added to the bottle. I don't think so, but I mean, there's a hefty layer in there, which that happens with bottle conditioned beers. But I'd drink it, It is just a touch too bitter, and it's got that weird phenolic thing. So I think reduce the rye, move the bittering addition, or reduce that early hop drop, and you're going to have a stellar beer. Let those hops shine a little bit more. They're kind of muddled, for lack of a better term. They're kind of just blending together in one big bitter component for me. So really, really close to a stellar beer. So that's what I'm going to tell you. That's my thoughts. And thanks for getting on the challenge. Cheers to you. Best of luck. Catch you on the next review.